The question, please, of unethical news gathering. Presumably you've heard of the term binology, is that correct?
I've actually become acquainted with it through the process of this inquiry.
Okay. On how many occasions did you deploy or take advantage of the services of Benji the Binman?
I was trying to remember. I know that I detail at least one in my book in relation to a story about Elton John. I can't honestly say how many times, but certainly we deployed him or his services several times.
Well, in your first book, 1998, the 13th of January, the entry says, I don't know whether you've got the same paperback edition.
Yeah. I've got the hardback. I think it's the same pagination, actually.
It's page 185. You tell us this, that Benjamin Pearl, a very strange guy who has peddled me a few stories in the past, rang me this morning with an extraordinary offer. I've got all Elton John's bank statements, he squealed in a high-pitched voice. I knew immediately where he would have got them. His nickname in Fleet Street is Benji the Binman. He goes round nicking rubbish from outside celebrities' houses or the offices of their lawyers and accountants. Loads of papers buy his stuff, despite the seriously unethical way he acquires it. And then I paraphrase, he turned up with sackfuls of Elton's documents, including the bank statements. Did you have any qualms about that, Mr. Morgan?
Yeah, slightly. I mean, it clearly is, a strange thing to be doing. Benji the Binman used to live in a house that had hundreds, if not thousands, of rubbish bins. I mean, he lived in a sea of rubbish bins. It's a very unusual way to lead your life. Did I think he was doing anything illegal? No. Did I think it was on the cusp of unethical? Yes. But it was interesting to me to see the testimony of David Lee, the chief investigations editor from The Guardian, who decided to make somebody else pay for this information whilst hoovering up all the details himself, which is something The Guardian's very good at. And since they have appointed themselves as the bishops of Fleet Street, I'd quite like to examine that practice, because in a way it's not massively dissimilar. They take the discarded remains from the tabloids, fill their papers with them, but never have to pay anything. I mean, if I thought of what David Lee did, then the Daily Mirror would have been a lot more profitable.
Well, Mr. Morgan, we're not asking questions of Mr. Lee at the moment. We're, I'm afraid, asking questions of you. Your book makes it clear that you use this exact language, despite the seriously unethical way he acquires it. So not just on the cusp, is it, of unethical behaviour, it's well on the wrong side of the line. Would you agree?
I don't know, actually, because if you throw something away, you're discarding it. And so you clearly have no more use for it, and it's going to go off to a rubbish tip where everyone knows people can walk down to rubbish tips and help themselves.
Yes.
So it's
I'm not sure they can, actually, Mr. Morgan. I'm not sure they can, but you could get some legal advice about that.
You can't go to rubbish tips?
No, I don't think you can, Mr. Morgan. I think that the property in the discarded rubbish probably belongs to the local authority once it's on their tip. But are you seriously suggesting that the person who's thrown away rubbish, in this case Mr. Elton John, has any expectation that it might end up in the hands of a journalist?
Well, it wasn't him, actually. It was his manager, John Reed.
Yes, his manager, pardon me, yes.
Yeah.
Because the same principle applies, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I sort of, I take it if you throw rubbish into the street, then, I just throw it out there. I wonder how unethical it is if that then appears in a newspaper. I mean, it's rubbish, isn't it?